This is the She Dares to Travel podcast, and I'm your host, Raquella Pollock. After spending a decade managing the #1 travel agency in Canada and now working with tourism businesses in risk management, I am here to connect you with women who are taking the travel industry by storm, as well as business professionals with a passion for travel, just like me. We are here to inspire, motivate, and uplift you to not only follow, but plan out your dreams, no matter where in the world they may be. Be sure to leave a review, subscribe, and follow along. Hello and welcome back, all you daredevils, to the She Dares to Travel podcast. Of course, this is your go-to destination for stories of remarkable women shaping the world of travel and tourism. And today I'm beyond excited to introduce a powerhouse in Indigenous tourism and community development. Joining us today is Chyanne Trenholm, the General Manager of Homalco Wildlife and Cultural Tours. And as a proud member of the Homalco First Nation, Chyanne's journey is deeply rooted for her passion in Indigenous tourism and its potential for fostering economic growth within First Nation communities. With her bachelor's degree focusing on Indigenous trends and issues, Chyanne has honed her expertise and dedicated herself to amplifying the voices and experiences of her community. From her years of frontline experience in tourism, leisure, and travel to her current role right now as General Manager, she's continuously sharpening her skills in leadership, communication, and admin. And she also just won the Indigenous Tourism Award last night at the TIA BC Awards Gala. Woo woo! So get ready to be inspired as we dive into Chyanne's journey and her dedication into Indigenous tourism and just the incredible impact that she's making on our community and beyond. Chyanne, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So excited to have you. One of my first in-person interviews, so this is really exciting. So just thrilled to have you, thrilled to have met you at this conference as well too. So tell us a bit about yourself. Have you always lived in Campbell River?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Campbell River, in particular on the Homalco First Nation Reserve, which is just south of Campbell River. And yeah, I grew up in our small community. Campbell River has grown a lot over the years, and it's turning into quite the destination, which I'm really proud to be part of the community still.
Awesome. I have never been to Campbell River, but I want to go, and I want to travel up into the islands above. Is kind of my plan for one of these days.
That's a really good plan. There's a lot of stuff to see. You have wildlife galore, mountains, the ocean, rivers, lakes, trails. Like it's Campbell River itself is just all along the ocean too. So like the entire drive, it's just ocean instead of housing, but it's just like it's beautiful.
Beautiful. Have you traveled through quite a bit of BC or the rest of Canada as well, or mainly on the island?
Growing up, it was mainly the island and a bit of like kind of Vancouver area for track and field.
Okay.
But I really had no idea kind of what was outside of Vancouver Island until I hit university, and even then I went to Vancouver Island University in Nanaimo, so not too far from my home grounds, still close enough. And I didn't actually really travel around until 2017 when I decided to go tree planting.
Oh.
And so I actually saw quite a bit of British Columbia and Alberta by road, going to different small communities, planting trees. And that was a really cool experience because I was able to see some really, really remote places. And I also met my my current partner there as well.
Very neat. I've heard tree planting is not for the faint of heart.
Definitely is not. It's a test of will. It's you're like the strongest you've ever been. You burn 1 billion calories in a day. It's just, and it's an incredible thing. It's the best and worst experience of your life. Like, that's a common statement from tree planters. So it's a weird love-hate relationship, but it kind of it was a really neat experience. And I left tree planting to actually go into tourism like in the same summer, which was actually what transitioned me to Homalco Tours.
Oh wow! And is the tree planting after schooling that you did with the bachelor's degree?
It was during the summers.
Okay.
So I only did 2 seasons, and it was just you graduate and then you're off into the woods for the summer.
Yeah.
Earning a pretty good amount of cash. You got to work hard for it, but you can come back. It was just during the summer seasons of while I was in school.
Okay, nice. And with talk a little bit about your schooling that you've done with the bachelor's that you do have. What was that like?
It was a journey to get there. I was in post-secondary school for longer than usual, and I think that's a common thing for a lot of students. You don't really know what you want to do right out of high school, and so I take that in as a story for a lot of people trying to figure out what they want to do because it's probably not going to happen right away. It took me going to college with a focus on psychology, to switching to physical education, to switching to tourism in a span of 3 years, getting there, testing it out. And yeah, I really found my passion in tourism in 2015, making the switch from physical education and, you know, just giving it a try. I wasn't too sure if it was going to take or what was going to happen with it, and still just kind of, you know, coasting along, not really sure what I want to do, not getting the best of grades, to be honest. And then my third year I found Indigenous tourism through an elective class in my studies called Aboriginal tourism, and it was an elective course, so it was an optional course, and I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And so I took that and was learning a lot, and our end of year project, it was to create a pretty big project, and I decided to do a video.
Okay.
Because I really like kind of creating things, and so I did a video about engaging youth in Indigenous tourism. Through that, I found a lot of information that was super relevant to me and my community back home, and it just kind of like everything fell into place. And I made this video, and my teacher was like, "This is so good. I'm gonna like present it to some people back home in the Yukon," and I ended up actually getting invited to present on a youth panel up in the Yukon at the Yukon First Nation Arts and Culture Center for their conference up there. And that was my first introduction to industry world, and a really cool opportunity being it was 2019 when that happened, so I was still in school, still figuring it out. So that's where things kind of the trajectory went, and it's been a journey since.
And then never look back.
Never look back, honestly. No.
It's amazing. Almost every woman that I speak to on this podcast, they always use the word passion that comes up. And I feel like it's so true in this industry with tourism that you have to follow your passion. You have to be passionate about it, whether you're working in a hotel or you're doing tours or wherever you are, because without that, like that's like the driving force behind what you do.
It absolutely is. And I attribute a lot of my success to that passion, because I could have found how a lot of times, and I've had many, you know, breakdowns, if you will, of, you know, what am I doing? This is so hard, and like it's really challenging me, but like this is what I really love to do, like through and through. So I'm really, you know, grateful to have found my passion and be able to work in it every day. And it's not a job for me. It's a job, but it's more than a job. It's passion.
It's passion.
It
is
really, really awesome to be
yeah.
able to work in this field for that.
Good. And that's something I think that is what helps get through those hard times, gets through those moments of what am I doing? Okay, how do I reassess this to keep moving forward? Mm-hmm. So talk a little bit about your early stages in tourism. So the first job you got, was it completely different? Or was it all at Homalco? And then I know you did admin roles and all of the roles, so elaborate a bit on that.
Yeah, my first introduction to tourism was, back in 2012 when I was taking an Outward Bound Canada kayaking, not a course, but an experience for 20 days kayaking through Clydequit Sound and Tofino. And it opened my eyes to like, what is this thing that you can just spend time in nature? Because I always loved nature, but I didn't know there was like a thing of like tourism. I didn't really know what tourism was.
Yeah. And
so that was my introduction to like outdoor recreation, which I fell in love with. And I was like, how can I, like, it was kind of like in the back of my head, like, how can I maybe get towards this? And didn't really know. So my first real tourism job was with Wild Play Nanaimo. Doing the zipline guiding, tree guiding, and bungee jump catching people. Very strange thing to be doing, but super fun. So that was like, that's actually kind of what triggered me to go into tourism in 2015 when I got my summer job there after moving to Nanaimo, and met some people that were in tourism management. I was like, that's a degree. Mm-hmm. So I made the switch, and so I attribute Wild Play to kind of my introduction to tourism and a tourism job. And so it was really a Wild Play, and then tree planting, and then working as a summer student in 2018 with Homalco Tours, which got me on Homalco Tours path.
Okay. And what was your first role with Homalco?
A summer student. I was like a summer student. There was this, so the nation, they employ summer students who are in post-secondary education or just education. And there was this role that had come up, and I was still out tree planting, and I was studying tourism, so I'm like, what am I doing out here planting trees when I could be doing something in my field that I'm working towards? So I made the really hard decision to actually come home and pursue this summer student job, which was actually, it was challenging at first. My boss was essentially like, sink or swim. We'll see how it happens. Oh yeah. Sometimes those are the best bosses, but also like that, oh my God, what am I doing? Yeah. It was, there was a lot of support I had from my boss, but it was just kind of we'll see how you do, and then you want me back after I graduated. So.
Yeah, amazing. And then from there, it continued to grow. So you continued to grow within the Homalco tours. And so how long was that ago? When did you start? Or how old were you, I guess, when you started there?
Like officially?
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been 2020 when I graduated.
Okay.
So very fun time to be starting in tourism, considering
Yeah,
that pandemic.
Of course.
So
yeah.
I had my graduation at home. I
Yeah.
was working from home. It's a very strange time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was starting up with Homalco Tours as always was the plan after I graduated. And we started off with, we're not running tours this year. What can we do? So considering my young technology-oriented mind, I was like, hey, we can start, really doing some digital storytelling.
Yes.
And so, we couldn't offer tours, and so we did digital storytelling. One of my first projects that I did there was actually focused around some culture and around cedar. The cedar tree is the tree of life for coastal First Nation people here, and just did like little stories of, how we process or harvest cedar, how we can make cedar roses. And so it was kind of like a cultural storytelling piece to give something to our followers on social media who were still growing at the time. Just something.
Yeah, something. When it's creativity, that a lot of the conversations around resilience and creativity was needed so much in 2020. So good for you coming straight out of, schooling and then not thinking you're just going to jump ship and run and be like, I gotta get out of here.
Yes.
So good for you. And I think there is something special about storytelling, and especially with First Nations, the stories to be told, and then having the platform to do it. So even with the tours that you guys offer. So tell us a bit more about the company itself. What do you guys offer, and what can people expect when they book a trip?
So our company, Homalco Wildlife and Cultural Tours, we've been around since 2001, and primarily focusing on grizzly bear tours in our traditional territory of Butte Inlet. That endeavor was started with partnership. We had grizzly bears that we knew were coming for the salmon, and so we partnered with a local resort for them to bring their guests, and we would provide the tour. Very early stages of tourism, didn't really know what we were doing in tourism. From my understanding, I was only 7 years old.
Yeah, they were paving the way. They're figuring it out for you.
So, grizzly bear viewing was how we got started with tourism. 2018 and 2019 was a pivotal moment for the company. When I came on, the boss that I have, JPO badge, she was taken onto the company to, build it up. What more can we do? And I was lucky enough to be able to work beside him. And so we developed things, he developed things in 2019, moved to export readiness, so welcoming travelers, and developing our own cultural tours, our own wildlife tours, building and designing our own brand new luxury tour vessels, just really making a name for ourselves. So 2021, we opened our doors to visitors and were able to introduce these really cool boats that we built. There's 12 seats inside, 12 seats outside, 12 passenger only, so everyone on board gets 2 seats.
Okay.
They have a really intimate and very cool experience with not a lot of people on board. So you get to learn a lot and get to talk with your guides and skipper. And so, we offer cultural tours. We go visit our last village site of Church House for Homalco. It's called People on Our Land. That's a really neat tour that actually gets you onto the land, learning about the history of the area. Really cultural, immersive tour. You actually get to work with cedar. So I talked about cedar before, and you actually get to work with that material to make yourself a bracelet.
Oh, cool.
And so that's a really neat one. We also have whale watching tours. So those are kind of your standard, going out looking for marine wildlife, humpbacks, orcas, sea lions, seals. We have a lot of wildlife around Campbell River, and very fortunate for all that wildlife that is there.
Yeah.
And we also obviously still do our grizzly bear tours. We do it ourselves, and we also still work with our partners because we wouldn't be able to do it without our partners, and so we still really value those relationships. But now we're able to bring people from start to finish with Homalco Tours to go experience our grizzly bears. We have a range of, we have a very big variety of tours. We're building and building and building from half-day 4-hour tours to kind of longer 8 to 10-hour tours.
Wow. And where do you see, from what you know where it started to where it is now with you coming on board, or I guess to when it was when you came on board in 2020 to what it is now, where do you see the vision for the company? Where do you see it in 5 to 10 years that you would love to have it grow to?
That's a very interesting question, because right now Homalco in itself is going through a lot of growth. We've just acquired land. There's land acquisitions happening.
Okay, yeah.
Tons of economic development happening. So sky's the limit for kind of what's going on in the next 5 to 10 years. We're currently working on building a remote wilderness lodge, expanding into some heli ski operations.
Amazing.
In our traditional territories. I would love, from day one, to starting some sort of kayaking experience, because it's still really close to my heart, kayaking.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have many things to offer. The problem we're probably gonna run into is just capacity.
Yeah.
How are we gonna be able to? We're growing and there's high demand, but how are we gonna keep up with, staff and all the other things?
With that being said, because how many staff do you guys currently have now?
In our peak season, we're just under 30.
Okay, yeah, quite large for the amount. And then you've moved into now the general manager role, which has been, how long? When did you get into this role?
January this year.
And already have an award. Just amazing, by the way. Just amazing. With that being said and moving, how has it helped with you having the knowledge from all the other roles that you've had to being the general manager in order to lead the company?
It's been very helpful. I was never a guide for the company, so I do have that aspect missing.
Yeah.
I've guided another role, so I understand the premise of guiding and the challenges that do come with that, and for the current team that we do have. So I can relate, but I haven't been in their shoes.
Yeah.
But I've seen everything. I've dealt with, our social media side. I've dealt with our customers. I've dealt with our bookings. I've dealt with tour development, managing the team, just really everything to do with the company. I've had my hands in, and I wear many hats, and have from day one. So I've never really had a job description until now.
Yeah.
So it's really nice.
That's good. Good. Yeah, absolutely. Which is important, right? And then it helps with that respect factor when you're working with everyone in the company too. Definitely. I've always thought of First Nations as people very connected to the land and to the earth, and it's something that I think is really important for a lot of other ethnicities to develop, because there is something, like you said, like kayaking out in the wilderness. I went on a whale watching tour while I was here. There's something so peaceful and connected to this earth and beautiful world that we live in. How do you think that this message is given when people come on your tours, or how do you think people can walk away feeling after a tour?
So Campbell River, where we're at, we're in raw nature if you just step out your back door. So there's already a connection there, but when you get out on our boats and out in the territory, it's another ethereal feeling of a place. I experience it every time I go out there as well, and you step on the land and you just feel something. There's something there. It's quiet. There's birds. You can hear. There's a loudness in the quiet that is there, and with the storytelling that does come from it, I think people can take as much as they want, as far as not take as much. They can feel as much as they want, or they can not feel it at all. It's kind of like how's your own connection to those places that you visit. And a lot of people do, come back, and it's just it's refreshing for them and inspires them. Just being out on the water, really, it's very healing.
Yeah, very healing. It's a great word for it. Very healing. There's something about, for me, it's always been the ocean. I live close to lakes, which is wonderful, but then as soon as I get to the ocean, I'm like, I can really breathe. There's something really, really healing about it. That's a perfect word. For any women that want to get into tourism, any Indigenous women that want to get into tourism and get into a place where they are general manager or they are leading, what type of advice would you have for them?
Following my own advice sometimes is hard, but
I hear ya.
like anyone,
I hear
you
ya.
can give advice, but it's hard to follow it. So I'm saying this for myself too.
Yeah.
Is know your worth, and don't be afraid to say yes to some scary opportunities that come up. That's how we grow. We don't grow when we're not uncomfortable. There's a good uncomfortable, and there's bad uncomfortable. Trying to figure out what that is, I don't know, but
I hear ya.
But as long as you're growing and moving forward, and open to the opportunities that will arise, and also really taking up space for yourself, making sure your voice is heard is very valuable. I've had to learn it myself, being in a male-dominated industry of wildlife and marine tourism. It's a lot of men at the table, and a lot of them are very welcoming. However, there's just still that thing, I don't see another woman at the table. I don't see another Indigenous woman at the table.
Yeah.
So I'm really kind of, aware of that, and aware that my presence does matter. And so, just take up that space, make sure your voice is heard, and don't be afraid to know your worth, and just do what you feel is right as well, and follow your heart, and lead with emotion, lead with compassion, and listen to people as well.
You were on a panel yesterday at the tourism conference, and it was with Worth Association, and you said the same thing, and I think it's really valuable advice that it is so important to listen and to hear where your staff are coming from, listen to yourself and figure out a way to move forward. And even some of the women I was interviewing earlier, I asked a similar question to them. And one of them had said it's stepping into your power. Mm-hmm. And it's feeling that power and knowing that you are there and you deserve to be there. And that is something that it's hard, and it's something we constantly have to remind ourselves every single day. Because once we stop, that's when that little nagging creep comes into your voice. Yeah. the little creep comes up. I don't know what to call it, but it's annoying, but we all have it. So I think that's really, really good, valuable insight for all of us to take with us moving forward. Definitely. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
What is your ask for us for, in a very fast-paced moving world where we all really can slow down or need to slow down and take a bit more nature? What's an ask for what we could do to continue to leave this world better than we found it?
I think it comes down to the base principle of, don't take more than you need. Oftentimes we're in a take society, mm-hmm. And just sharing the space that you're living in, respecting the environment. Like, it's all pretty base, simple stuff, but sometimes we need that reminder. But when, when we're harvesting medicines or food, we don't take more than what we need to sustain ourselves. So I think that's one piece there that can resonate with people. Yeah. Because we're in a very consumer-driven world where maybe we don't need that item, or just filling empty holes here. It's
well, look at 2020 grocery stores. That was mayhem. And everyone panicked. And we all just took what we needed. It still would have been on the shelves. Yes. So yeah, great point. Great point. Well, thank you for sharing your story. I think it is inspiring what you've done, how you are here, and how it will inspire so many people just to grow and to know their worth and to continue to move forward in what they're doing and follow their passion. It's so important. So thank you. Where can people find more about Homalco Wildlife?
So we're all over the place. We have a website called Homalco Tours. Mm-hmm. We're on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn.
Awesome.
All tagged at Homalco Tours, HOMALCOTOURS. We are there, and we have a lot of space on the internet.
Awesome. Yeah. We'll look for those videos. Yes. I love it. Well, thank you so much again for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to Hotel Z Kelowna, Victoria, and Tofino for being our sponsor. You can also save 15% off your next getaway using the code DARES2, DARES2, the number 2, at hotelz.com. These funky and unique hotels are in British Columbia, and they're going to have you not wanting to leave while you're on your next vacation. Enjoy! If you like this episode, please subscribe, download a few more, and leave a review. I really would love to hear from you, what you enjoyed and what your key takeaways were. And of course, please let me know if there's any aspect of the travel industry you want me to talk about next. You can also search for the hashtag #SheDaresToTravelPodcast on Instagram and comment on the episode's post with your questions. I'd love to answer them all for you guys. I hope you enjoy your day, stay so well, and until next time, fly straight.